Johnny Hangy. Welcome, one and all, ladies and gentlemen, and children of all different shapes and sizes. I want to say it like that because we don't want to get done for copyright. And welcome to the Piledriver Podcast. It's been 3 weeks in the making, so thank you for your patience, everybody who's tuning in. And everybody who's going to tune in later once, obviously, it's all up and pre-recorded on YouTube. And myself, Dynamite Dave Abbott, we've got the Surgeon, Gav Collingwood, NHS hero, NHS hero. And last but by no means least,
we've got the Heartbreak Yade, Phil Holmes, I'm here. The Heartbreak Yade is back. Back to bring you the best in broadcasting entertainment.
He's just a sexy boy. Yes, really. So it's good to be back on once again. Gentlemen, how are we?
Pretty good, thank you. Back in lockdown, which is a shame.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, everyone. Yeah.
Well, yeah, Christmases are coming. Goose is getting fat. No one's putting any pennies in my bloody hat. I am. What can I say? So many dimensions.
The wrestling is still going. WWE is still going. AEW, Ring of Honor, and New Wrestling, New Japan Wrestling as well, and also various other things going on the indie circuit behind closed doors as well. So still plenty, and also as well, Impact. So there's still plenty to be talking about, both on screen and things that are happening off screen. Shall we go straight in with the news of the week?
I think we should, Dave.
Okay. Shall I go with the first news segment that I found out this week?
Yes, go for it.
So it's sad news, really. This individual was one of the main sort of heel stroke faces back in the days of WWF. Had a lot of personal demons that have been documented as well, but did make a comeback in a managerial status in the AEW. It is the sad news that Jake the Snake Roberts has confirmed that he does have, is it COPD, I believe? It's a lung condition. He's been struggling to breathe without additional oxygen. He's struggles now to talk 20 seconds or more without needing additional oxygen for support. And despite all of this, he's told the world about this over the last few months, but it's only just recently been diagnosed that he's had issues with his lungs. And it's a shame, really, because I think he is fantastic for a young wrestler like Lance Archer to bounce off, to guide him on the right path, and to not make the mistakes that he did. So on behalf of the Piledriver Podcast family, we wish Jake the Snake Roberts all the very best, and hopefully he can still continue to do some promo work on AEW.
Absolutely, and I'd just like to add to that, after seeing Jake the Snake Roberts in Beyond the Mat, I think a lot of people, if you've seen that film, seen Jake the Snake Roberts in that film, you're probably surprised to hear that he's even still alive. So it just shows that he's he's turned his life around and he's got back working and got back in a good state of mind. So it's sad to hear that this is happening now, when he's, works hard to get back where he is.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, if you've got any other new news bits, I've got a couple of other pieces, but I'm happy to hold my peace until you guys want to tell us any news that I might not have picked up on this week.
There was no innuendo intended with the holding your peace then as well.
Definitely not holding my own personal peace. I meant as in the peace of quiet. Disclaimer, just in case there's any, people of a nervous disposition listening.
Not really any news, but just pay-per-view last night. Amazing.
Which pay-per-view was that, Gav? Tell us all.
It couldn't be anything to do with, Full Gear?
Yes, AEW Full Gear. Yeah, highlights for you on that, Gav.
Omega. What a match. Second only. Second only to the tag team one.
Match. Man Page versus Omega, Phil. When you get a chance, incredible match. I mean, to think that it was only 3 months ago that these guys were 3 or 4 months ago these guys were tag team champions, and to vie for a spot to fight for the AEW Heavyweight Championship. Immense. Just while Phil's getting sorted out there as well.
I've absolutely don't know what I'm doing now.
It's okay, Phil. We'll keep it flowing while you get the camera sorted back.
I've turned it around and I don't know how to turn it back.
So, Phil, it's a lovely picture of. I don't know what that is. It's a shame we haven't got the screen back, because we could have people, enter a competition. What's Phil got in his room?
You don't want to know what he's got in his room, to be honest.
Hey. There he is, back.
Turn it back around, please.
The Hangman Page versus Omega match was brilliant. And I really enjoyed the Young Bucks versus FTR as well. I thought that was a really, really good match. Good, strong match as well.
I have a question about the show, and it's to do with the Matt Hardy match, deletion match. Matt Hardy won, and I was told Hurricane. Is that Hurricane Helms?
Yep.
I'll let Gav fill in the blanks on this one.
And Gangrel, the vampire.
Yeah, it follows on from the last one that he had, the last deletion match, where Hurricane Helms got basically captured by Gangrel.
For all of our listeners, if there's any new listeners, I am so out of touch from modern day wrestling. That's me, yeah. But I do know some stuff from the past. But what is a deletion match? Does it mean that Sammy's been deleted? What's he been deleted from? Existence? Does it exist anymore?
He's deleted, that's all that matters. He's deleted.
Deleted from what?
But what comes back from this now? What version of Sammy's going to come back?
Yeah, he's in the multi.
He
could be deleted and obsolete now. He could be Hardy's tag team partner, as I keep saying, hopefully.
That would be immense. And I think now, spoiler alert, now that there is a new member of the Inner Circle, and this particular person, two new members of the Inner Circle, sorry, yeah, you're right, Gav, and Sammy was absolutely against these people joining the Inner Circle. I wouldn't be surprised anytime soon, if not before the new year, the biggest AEW storyline to be a Sammy Guevara face turn as well, so I can see that happen.
I think Jericho as well for last run.
Maybe Jericho as well for one more run. Last bit of news I've got, guys, because the Full Gear AEW pay-per-view was absolutely fantastic, and if nobody has seen it, get on it. Try and get the full thing. Yeah, sorry for spoiling it, but it is absolutely immense. There is not one bad match on that pay-per-view. For me, a lot better than the previous AEW pay-per-view as well. Even though that was good, this one took it to another level. Another bit of news as well, because we can't have news without talking about our friends at WWE, and in particular, our friends Retribution. So, one of the female members of Retribution has asked to be taken out of the stable. She is not, so there's only one female member left now in the Retribution stable, and I think it's the one who begins with it begins with an R. She's the one whose face mask gets fallen off. Yes, Retaliation. Thank you, Gav, for covering my back there.
I remember all the crap names, don't worry.
And making this link go ever so smoothly. She has now quit from the Retribution stable, and no plans are known where she's going to be going from here, although it is thought that she's going to be going back into NXT. It might not be a bad thing, really, because the Retribution thing, from what's been rumours backstage that Vince has practically given up already on the Retribution stable.
Sure.
That rumours that are coming out from a lot of sources in WWE. So, if there's nothing else, guys, do we have any other bits of news before we go into the main event?
We've got birthdays.
Have we got birthdays? Birthdays? Anyone's birthday?
Leave that over to you guys.
Right, so first birthday, because obviously it being today, is Keith Lee. Born in
Big
1984.
Okay. Keith Lee. Sorry, I don't know who he is.
You're not.
You'll have to.
You're
going to have to enlighten our viewers in case they don't know either. I'm pretty sure some of our viewers might just be like me, and might worship me. They might, really like me, and they might like my sort of history, and they might like wrestling from years ago. So they might not know Keith Lee. And now you're going to tell me that. Now you're going to tell me you wrestled in the 70s, aren't you? Go on.
Well, this is your strength, Phil. You are the Piledriver Podcast historian. You really are, because you can just like get a SummerSlam or a WrestleMania or a Survivor Series and go, yep, this happened, that happened, and this happened, and that happened. I'm like, oh yeah, it did. Well,
I love the old ones.
Keith Lee, to enlighten Phil and a couple of others, was brought from NXT, wasn't he, Gav? He's from the NXT division of WWE, and. Gav, what's your thoughts on him? I think for a guy who's been politely has got a big build, he has got some moves. He can really, really move this guy around the ring, and he's pretty high flying and hard hitting.
Well, how old is he? What birthday is it?
36.
Okay. Well, no disrespect meant. I simply don't watch wrestling anymore like I used to. Happy birthday, Mr. Lee.
Is a budget Kevin Owens?
Oh, Kevin Owens. But I always kind of look at Kevin Owens and think the Heartbreak Kid could beat him.
Of course he could.
Kevin Owens looks normal.
Phil, if you was at WrestleMania, you wouldn't drop your undefeated streak to Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns, would you? Do you know what I mean? You'd go on unbeaten.
I think I probably would, yeah.
And that's what separates you from The Undertaker.
Well, The Undertaker was good. I'll give him that.
Any other birthdays?
We've got the $1 Million Brat, Ted DiBiase Jr.
Oh!
Okay, happy birthday, Mr. $1 Million Man.
$1 Million Brat.
$1 Million Brat, yeah, I like that. It's good.
In a few hours from now, we've also got Le Champion, Chris Jericho.
Oh!
How old's he? 76? I'm sorry, Chris. If you ever want to come on the podcast and have an argument about it,
He'll be turning 50 tomorrow.
Do you know what, Phil? Do you know what he would do, though? With it being his birthday, he'll be celebrating with a little bit of the bubbly.
It probably will. It probably will.
50 years old.
Is it? How old is he? Is he 50?
Yeah.
Wait,
50 years
really?
Old.
My hat, if I had my hat on, I'd take it off for you, Chris, because 50 years old, still performing like that, brilliant, mate.
And just recently celebrated 30 years in wrestling as well, so that's an amazing achievement. Absolutely amazing.
It's not exactly close by, but Cowboy Bob Orton's birthday on the 10th.
Bob, oh, we know his offspring, don't we?
Yeah. Do you know that he's
Isn't it your favourite wrestler?
Yeah, don't even go there. Honestly, Phil, I'd rather watch you wrestle.
That'd be a treat.
Would it really?
Cowboy Bob Orton never ever won a title in WWF.
And look what
well, every time, yeah, he won a lot without looking any good. Right, okay.
So tonight's main event. I haven't got my sound effects, so check this out though. I've been practicing. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ding, ding, ding.
Hey.
That's
honestly, it's like the bells around you.
Pretty good, man.
It's like Holy Trinity Church is around you. Do you know what I mean? It's amazing. So, right. Phil, talk to us, Ghost.
So this week we're going to do, it's a bit of a return for us, isn't it? So we're keeping it simple. There's 3 of us here, and we're all going to do our Mount Rushmore of Wrestling. So that means we're all going to pick 4 wrestlers that, for whatever reason, we put up in high esteem above others. I'm going to go over my picks first. We're allowed to pick the same one because it's not fair if not. It's quite difficult. There's people I want to put in there, and there's. I said earlier to the guys that they don't know my picks, by the way, listeners. They don't know what I'm going to pick. But I've only just made my mind up on my 4th. So my first one's easy, and I know he's got a lot of haters, but I can't get away, and I can't not include him. But Hulk Hogan.
Nailed on, Phil. I knew you were going to pick Hulk Hogan.
I can't get away from it. And what I decided... So I decided to give a reason why, and obviously there's loads of reasons why, because he used to win a WrestleMania every year, and I was a kid, and he was a superhero to me. But the main one for me, the main one standout moment that I love more than any other moment is WrestleMania 3. Body slamming Andre the Giant, the leg drop, the 1, 2, 3. Over 70,000 fans in the Silver Dome. It was what absolutely kicked off wrestling. That was the start of the boom.
But it's not the first person to have body slammed in there.
It doesn't matter. It was the first one to do it in front of 70,000 people.
And the Thunderdome, brother. Sorry,
yes,
Silverdome.
That's what matters. At
You
WrestleMania.
got the name wrong as well. Yeah.
Silverdome.
Yeah, he got the name wrong when he was doing a promo one time.
Oh, did he?
I can't remember what he said, but it was something like Thunderdome, brother.
Thunderdome, because he wanted it. He probably just been pleasuring himself. Pleasuring himself to. I was just about to say.
We
it was just probably. Yeah. It didn't. No, we don't.
Need to know
so, but Hulk Hogan, I think he deserves his place there for me because of what he did for pro wrestling. Made it so popular. Cartoons, records, TV shows, movies. He made wrestling popular, and he was probably, he took it to the mainstream. Simple as. And he was the figurehead of that, and for that reason, and that reason alone is enough for me to put him on Mount Rushmore. Number 2. Now, you're probably going to nail this one as well. I mean, there's 2 wrestlers I've got to include. And one of them is The Rock. I've got to include The Rock. Like I said, this Mount Rushmore for me is for my wrestlers that have given me the most personal enjoyment. And I would be betraying myself if I didn't say The Rock, because the guy was just so downright entertaining. His promos are fantastic. If you don't smell what The Rock is cooking by now, you've got COVID and you've lost your sense of smell, man. the guy is an absolute entertainment genius. And he wasn't too bad in the ring either. I can't think of one particular in-ring moment, but I can remember a match against The Undertaker, which he should have won in about a minute. But because of outside interference or whatever, it was just electrifying. And that's what The Rock was all about. So The Rock, for me, electrifies his place into that Mount Rushmore. I mean, we can talk for ages about The Rock.
I think that's a great shout, Phil, because for me personally, in all the eras of wrestling that I've been watching, like since the sort of mid to late 80s, and then watching WCW, TNA, Impact, ECW, etc., AEW, I've yet to find anybody, man or woman, who can just make the microphone his slave. Do you know what I mean? Like, this guy could pick up the mic and it was just bang. It was on fire every single time. It didn't matter who was interviewing him. He would absolutely mug them. It didn't matter who was walking by. It didn't matter who was in the ring. Whether he was heel or face, that guy, when he had a mic in his hand, you just knew something special was going to happen. And so, yeah, absolutely agree with The Rock being on there.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. I think it's one that if anyone says justify it, then they're being a bit silly. I can understand purists from the back in the day, but it's a different business then to what it is now. Simple as. Okay, so number 3. I think if nobody got this one, then they don't know me at all. I mean, my name. Obviously, Shawn Michaels borrowed my moniker a long time ago, changed it to the Heartbreak Kid.
Definitely did.
But I'll be telling you now, there's been Spurs fans longer than there has been Shawn Michaels. So who's in the right here? Who's in the right here? Heartbreak Kid, always have been. I don't mind Shawn Michaels borrowing it because, for me, he has been in some of the best matches I've seen. When he wanted to be, I'll grant that. And I do know he's not the easiest person to get along with backstage. Never used to be. He has changed. And, if I'm going to talk about a certain particular match, I mean, there's loads. There's the 2 Royal Rumbles that he won back-to-back. One starting from number 1 slot, beating British Bulldog when he started at number 2. Probably my favourite ever Royal Rumble. First to win was Michaels and Bulldog. Last to win was Michaels and Bulldog. Michaels won. I think he went on to lose to Diesel at WrestleMania. The year after he won and went on to beat Bret Hart, maybe? Iron Man match?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
But my favourite time, remembering him in the ring, and I mean, when he came back and he had this feud with Triple H, and they had a great match. I think Triple H won it though, but it was when he first got a title back around his waist, and it was the first Elimination Chamber match, 6 of them, and it was an okay match, but it was just great to see Michaels winning it and getting that title around his belt, the music kicking in, the moves, the emotions for me was great. I love him. He's a great entertainer. And for me, he's my 3rd choice on Mount Rushmore.
Excellent. Good choice.
Now, my last choice, I've been in turmoil. I thought I had it nailed on. And then 5 minutes ago, I changed my mind. Because I'll tell you what it was. I wanted to include AJ Styles, but I just can't. I want to, because when I saw his matches, it made me think, bloody hell, I want to start watching wrestling again. Do you know what I mean? It was that talented. He's that talented. Okay, slowed down a bit now. He's getting a bit older. But I'm talking 10 years ago. This guy was a monster mover. It's moves I've never seen in my life. It was so exciting to watch. But then, I've just realised I've overlooked somebody, and this guy really needs to be there. I mean, he might not be as tall as somebody like Andre the Giant we've mentioned, or even the Big Show, would never get anywhere near my Mount Rushmore. Andre would. But, I'm trying to give a few memorable shouts. I mean, I used to love hearing Macho Man's music kicking.
Ooh, yeah. Dig it.
Because I'm singing it, nobody will be able to recognise the tune, so it's okay.
Fair enough.
And him and Hulk Hogan had the best handshake of all time.
Okay, so that's and one last honourable mention before I reveal number 4 is British Bulldog. I always loved British Bulldog because being British, being Englishman, growing up, or English boy growing up, he was the only, to me, that I could see the only English wrestler in WWE at the time. So I idolised him.
And the steroids he gave you.
He never gave me any, but
Possibly.
if he did.
A contact steroids.
Me and the Hart family don't want to discuss that matter any further. It's all been swept under the carpet already.
If that comes out, Gav, he might lose his belt that he won at Skull. So, you know what I mean?
Okay, guys. Okay, so moving on. Number 4. AJ Styles was almost there, but I can't look beyond Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's got to be Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'm sorry if some of you are going to pick the same numbers. Do you know, it was in so many storylines that was so important to WWE at the time. If it weren't for him and The Rock and some of the matches they had, and Vince McMahon and Austin having the massive feud that they did, WCW might still be around and we might be talking about. Do you remember WWE? I don't know. I think Austin was maybe that important. Do you know, Austin, so memorable. At the time, I didn't appreciate him as much as I do now. Looking back now and rewatching, the guy's a legend. So there you go. That's my 4.
I think that 4th one's a great one. Sorry to interrupt, Phil. And that 4th one was Stone Cold Steve Austin because he, for me, and I know millions of other wrestling fans at that time and even now, absolutely epitomised the Attitude Era because he was pure attitude.
Yes.
Rebellion, swearing, not caring, almost like an anti-hero. He'd go and slap Vince McMahon about, and then wouldn't think twice about slapping The Rock or Mankind about, and then going back to slapping DX about, and then maybe going and slapping The Undertaker about as well. So this guy was just an absolute lone wolf, pure, unadulterated attitude. And I think he, the one, at the top of a big tree at that time of talent that really epitomised the Attitude Era.
I tell you what, I really liked as well, and it's probably really corny now, but looking back. But do you remember the time? I don't know, it was all part worked as a bigger storyline, but the time he went and saved Stephanie and helped Vince, even though there was enemies.
Yes.
I thought that was a really classy move from Stone Cold.
Was that against the Ministry?
Yes, it was.
Yes.
Yes, it was, yeah.
The Undertaker's Ministry.
I just remember that. I remember that, and I thought, what a classy move. I didn't mind. I mean, I liked it when Vince came out defending his wife and he slapped Triple H about it and stuff like that. I mean, there's loads of mentions, but that's my 4. So I guess we've got to move on to Gavin's.
Absolutely great choice, Phil. Yeah, Gav. Who have we got on your Mount Rushmore?
I do have to add that whole Ministry storyline made no sense.
No,
Vince
it didn't.
McMahon,
I mean,
pretending
we
to
had
be
a
the leader, kidnaps his own daughter to get Stone Cold to rescue his own daughter from himself.
Yeah.
Who wins?
And then don't forget, we had Flying Undertaker as well at that time, roughly around that era.
Yeah.
We had the Flying Dead Man, the Flying Phenom. Yeah.
Doing lightning bolts.
Yeah, beautiful. We've all done it.
I'm actually struggling for my 4 because there's that many options.
I mean, if I've picked someone you're going to say, it doesn't matter. You've got your reasons. You can pick the same. It's easy going first.
I've got one that could be quite controversial.
Go for it.
That'll be the 4th one, I think. The opening one has to be The Rock, like you said. It's just...
Yeah.
He made it more mainstream in a time when it's gone from comedy wrestling, basically.
It is cool again. I mean, to talk about The Rock as well, he really... When he first walked out and made his debut at Madison Square Garden as Rocky Maivia, he was booed from the first moment he stepped out. But they didn't know him, They saw that he was supposed to be a blue chipper, a face. And the fans thought, we're not buying into that. And they booed him. And I remember a quote from The Undertaker. And he says, "Oh my gosh, I rooted for this guy. I thought he's not going to be around long." And then he says about a year later, The Undertaker says, "Wow, he's changed himself around. He's very talented. I tell you what, he's not going to be around long because he's going to move on to better things." Do you know what I mean?
Good shout. It's a good shout though, having the Rock on Mount Rushmore. Who's your number 2, Gav?
This is, again, it's quite a tough one. more modern than really Phil to know, because you haven't really seen him in any kind of fights. But I've got to say Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll leave this to you two guys then.
They're always the best matches you see that year.
Well, all I'll say I know about him is, just quickly, mate, the only bit I've got on him is Dave Meltzer, who does the reviews. Kenny Omega gets more 5-star reviews than anybody, apparently. You know, so he must be good.
You're going to watch his matches. Like, he's got the most protective finisher as well, the one-winged angel. Only one person's ever kicked out of it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That was Wrestle Kingdom one year, I think.
I think it was, yeah. But you got to go back like well before AEW. The work that he did with, New Japan Pro Wrestling. You know, when he was part of the Bullet Club over there, but even when he wasn't in the Bullet Club, when he was just a singles competitor, the matches, it's just the technical ability of him with some of Japan's top stars was just second to none. And it's no wonder that he rose through the ranks and became the leader of the Bullet Club at one point when he was in NJPW as well. Yeah, great. I mean, and do you know what as well? I like him on Being the Elite.
Yeah.
The character of Omega, because he's like a funny version, a funny version of CM Punk. Like, he doesn't drink, doesn't do anything that he shouldn't be doing. And that's why I think when him and Hangman got together as a tag team, it worked, because they were the complete opposites in terms of personalities together as well. But yeah, Kenny Omega, absolutely great show for a Mount Rushmore spot, because I think 10, 20 years from now, you know, Kenny Omega's one of those guys who'll just, wherever he rocks up, he'll just get standing ovations and start chanting his name. You know, a bit like what you get now with The Rock, Shawn Michaels, when they met their odd appearances as well. So,
it's
good shout, Gav.
Whenever he turns up, though, as soon as he comes out, the crowd's going. Not many wrestlers can do that now.
No, they can't. It's just a natural thing. But he without question, he has absolutely earned that right as well.
And now he's finally back actually doing singles after what, a year nearly?
Yeah.
It's just
the cleaner.
It's about time the cleaner came back.
I
Especially
know.
the match against Sonny Kiss. That was just his face just after this, like, now what?
The quickest match. Do you know what? That match ended quicker than any of Brock Lesnar's I've seen in the last 2 years, to be honest with you. And that does take some beating. Who's number 3 on the Surgeon's Mount Rushmore?
Well, should we wait for Phil to get back?
Yeah, we can do. Let's give it some more Kenny Omega.
I can hear him.
Oh, that sounds like
I can hear him before I can see him.
Hi guys, sorry about that.
I can hear him before I can see him. I can smell him before I can see him normally.
No, he's back now.
Are you still on Kenny Omega, or have you moved to number 3?
Just wait until you get back.
Kenny Omega.
When you finish training the main vein.
That's right. Yeah.
Number 2. It's got to be the champion.
El Champion. Oh, what a pick, really. I'm glad you picked him. What a great list.
Done that for years. There's not many wrestlers that can say they've been active that long. And still innovating as well.
I tell you what, there's not many wrestlers that can say they beat The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin, I believe, in the same pay-per-view to become the undisputed first, the very first undisputed champion of WWE. Absolutely. That is legendary.
Absolutely.
That is legendary, man.
For an average WCW guy as well.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Oh, never make it, never draw money. You know what I mean? Come on. It's still 50 years old, you told me earlier, and he's still doing it.
He's 50 years old tomorrow, and he's now a bubbly salesman.
A bubbly salesman. And do you know what? This is what I did when Bischoff came and did a little bit of a cameo in AEW between Le Champion and MJF.
Cassidy.
Cassidy section as well. And I just thought there's definitely some real backstage history between the younger Jericho and Bischoff and Vince Russo, obviously, at the time as well, because these guys didn't back him. He's just some Canadian. Oh, well, we don't want another Bret. You'll never be another Bret Hart. You'll never be a this, that, and the other. And he's just gone on, and he's just been Y2J and just evolved into Le Champion. And his podcast is fantastic. His commentary on the dark side of wrestling is absolutely brilliant. And if you ever see any footage of him where he does guest speaker appearances as well, he's absolutely frank and honest about the mistakes he's made, the screw-ups he's done in matches, how his career's evolved and stuff like that. He just seems like a really, really humble, down-to-earth but brutally honest wrestler as well.
Yeah.
And not many other wrestlers can say they've got the fans cheering and sing along to the music as they come out.
As a heel.
Yeah.
As well. As a heel.
Well, do you know, that's the best performers for me are the ones that get the fans on board, obviously. But, you know, Kurt Angle was one for me as well, with the fans all chanted, "You suck," but, you know, it was brilliant.
True.
Jericho was as good a face as he was good as a heel, maybe better as a heel. Don't know.
Yeah.
He's good as a heel because he could be a dick, but I like him.
And he's good at that.
And for that, Gav, I'm going to put you. You just made the list.
Again, Jericho in the
Yeah, because you just said the first swear word tonight, Gavin.
I didn't. I said
yeah.
Short for Richard.
Yeah.
You know, we're trying to keep it clean now, and here's you, Surgeon.
You're allowed one S word if it's PG.
Getting all cocky.
What,
with
like,
your swear
like
words.
Chicken? Like a cockerel.
Hey, we all like the cockerel.
I don't.
We all know.
So to number 4 then. This is
your controversial one potentially, Gav, here.
I don't know if you'll agree or not, but Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Good shout.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely good shout.
Wrestling from a little carny show into one of the biggest businesses in the world.
Absolutely.
Carny show.
Without question.
You got that from John Moxley, didn't you?
No.
Carny show.
It was just literally a sideshow you go to, people fighting.
Yeah, but John Moxley said something about that recently. That's all I meant. Yeah, I think he deserves his place there, to be fair. Can't argue against it. I mean, the guy was a normal skinny lad and then transformed his own body so that he could compete with these guys and make it realistic. Brilliant on microphone skills, brilliant character development. I mean, the guy's a genius. I think he's a bit old and past it now. But his prime years was some of the most entertainment TV you had. I know he had his reservations about certain eras and was maybe pushed a little bit by certain people. But at the end of the day, it was
now. But he's been there, done that, made billions.
Absolutely, you know, very clever. When he bought WCW, he paid next to nothing for it, and he says he ain't bothered about the wrestlers. The main thing I want is the video catalogue.
Yeah,
I'll have the wrestlers as well. The ones that'll play ball, I'll take. And see what we do with them. Yeah, but I ain't taking over massive contracts. He did it so right, very clever business move. And you know what I mean?
I do have a special mention to add my Mount Rushmore as well.
Who was your special mention?
I was going to add Orange Cassidy to it, but he won't climb all the way up there.
So
Orange Cassidy?
Yeah,
if be at the very bottom where the viewing area is.
Maybe in 20 years' time. He'll still trying to be climbing up there.
Would make Mount whatever. That'd be the mount that he'd be on, Mount whatever.
Yes, Mount whatever.
It'd be a tiny little thing at the bottom of the hill, though. Like a tiny little statue there, because I ain't going all the way up there getting a face bomb.
Nah, he just lay down in front of the mountain. Do you know what I mean? Vince McMahon as well. Just a quick one before obviously I go into to my Mount Rushmore. To drag a business that everybody believed at the time was going to literally fold up because WCW was consistently smashing the ratings, and to do something and to drag everybody along with him when everybody could have quite easily jumped ship and gone to WCW for contracts and, you know, a little bit of their fair share of the 15 minutes of fame. To do that and to have those and to say to all those people at that time, if you stick with me, things are going to change. Things are going to get better. We're going to be the leading brand. And those who did reap the rewards. You've only got to look at, whether you like them or not, people like The Undertaker stuck with him all the way through that as well. Triple H.
I tell you what.
Shawn Michaels.
If Shawn Michaels had left, sorry, Dave, if Shawn Michaels had left WWE, WWF at the time, I think WCW would have just misused him and it'd have ended up as a mid-card nobody.
Like Bret Hart.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Like Macho Man. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Macho Man was criminally underused in WCW.
Right, Dave, before we get on to yours as well, I know Phil hasn't seen the pay-per-view yet, but you have, haven't you?
Yes.
We've got a viewer question, and what's your opinion about Hangman Page standing in the entranceway after the Young Bucks match? Because he stood in the entranceway in the background.
Yeah.
And do you think it'll be will it lead to a stable with FTR or reunion with the Elite or a long feud with Omega?
Well, I think what actually happened there, viewer, is the guy forgot his microphone and he was going to call me out. No, I'm only joking. Okay, sorry. No, what do you think, guys?
You just spoke being the Elite. You know what I mean? You just spoke the next episode of being the Elite. I think. I personally think that I can see Hangman Page doing something with FTR because there was something brewing in the last pay-per-view and a little while before that. So I'm expecting a heel turn from Hangman Page. That's my opinion.
Hangman Page just needs to chill out and have a nice glass of Jack Daniels Tennessee Fire.
Cowboy S word.
Yes.
It'll be all right. Yeah.
I don't know. My opinion on it, I think the fact they didn't mention it's good. Because, if that was... Is it Adam Cole, the commentator at WWE? I forget. Someone Cole, anyway.
Cheers.
He'd be saying...
Michael Cole,
that's one. Adam Cole's wrestler, isn't he?
Yeah.
Hell. I'm out of touch now. If it was Michael Cole, he'd be saying, and there's Hangman Page at the back, the Mad Cowboy. There's something. He's going to try and get his retribution on WWE SmackDown. It's like...
Yeah.
You don't need to say that.
Nah, just let it build naturally.
Long-term storytelling.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's going to be something that's going to be critical to New Year AEW, along with Guevara's.
Pay-per-view is January, apparently.
Absolutely. So I'm expecting big things. Excellent, Gav. Good Mount Rushmore there.
Phil, this is one thing you missed as well with the Elite Deletion match was after Matt Hardy rescued Hurricane. Hurricane said, "Well, it's been 2 years. What took you so long?" And he goes, long-term story. I can't word it.
Yeah, go ahead. Your role, please.
What's the word?
Sorry, go on.
Long-term storytelling.
Long-term storytelling. Good shout from Matt Hardy there.
I thought.
Yeah, it's obviously transcended from the WWE side of it, didn't it, as well? So I like that. It
lasted from last time in the pay-per-view when it was WWE all the way till the AEW one. He said he had to wait until he was in AEW to finish it all.
That's right. I have a soft spot for Hurricane Helms. It was fun. It was fun.
And JR's comment, it's hurricane season.
Yes. Good old JR.
Right, okay. So, Dave.
Okay, so.
Right, Dave, before you start, Dave. Right, I definitely know one of yours. Definitely. When you say it, I'll call it.
You think okay? You think you've called it, Phil? I've gone for a diverse Mount Rushmore. So my first on here, because I've seen this individual live performing as well, and because of what they accomplished before they came into mainstream wrestling, is Kurt Angle. Is my first one on there.
Brilliant choice. Yeah, I like him.
Out and out, pound for pound, natural wrestler with natural genuine technical ability, a proper craftsman of the sport of wrestling. Obviously went through all the college wrestling ranks, climbed up all the way into the USA Olympic team, and as we all know, was an Olympic gold medalist. Just in case,
freaking neck.
With a broken neck.
True. It's true.
It's damn true.
Yeah, it's damn true. And I saw Kurt Angle at I think it was WWE Insurrection, Phil. I think you were there as well.
I was. I took my little sister. My little sister, Samantha Thompson. Shout out.
A 2 out of 3 falls match against Chris Benoit, and there was no storyline to it. It was just who is the best technical wrestler, and just absolutely just showing. It was just like an exhibition match. And he's the first wrestler in WWE history to hold every singles title that was available at the time. So at the time, not only did you have the WWE Championship belt, the Intercontinental, the United States Championship, but you also had the European belt, and you also had the Hardcore belt as well. And Kurt Angle won the lot. He was the first person to win all the singles belts that were available to a male wrestler.
I'm pretty sure he did it in his first year as well, or something close to that.
Yeah, he did. He did it in his first year. So,
Kurt Angle's a legend. Good choice. Yeah. I'd like to say, you know, you had it was like one storyline that he took, which was real funny. It was like the opposite to Stone Cold Steve Austin, and instead of a beer truck, he had a milk truck. There's got milk, yeah, that sort of thing. Absolutely brilliant. The guy could play.
Great Stone Cold and loads of other people with the milk as well. It was brilliant.
You know, the guy is awesome. Is Kurt Angle, brilliant wrestler, brilliant storyteller. He can do comedy. He can do serious. He can do heel. He can do baby. But it always came across so professional. I mean, I think what happened to him was what happened to all professional wrestlers. They get into the professional wrestling lifestyle, which is very different to the amateur wrestling lifestyle. You know, if shit happens, you get older, things happen. But entertainment-wise, he's so much entertainment. Athleticism-wise, so athletic. Skill-wise, so skilled. Microphone-wise, he learned very quickly, very good. You know,
very good.
Total package, Dave. Great choice. Yeah. Great choice.
We have a comment as well about your choice as well. The every Benoit versus Angle match was an instant classic from Sir Darius.
Oh, excellent.
Absolutely, there was.
That was. Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, go on.
I mean,
carry on.
Forget all the controversies aside about both those guys. You know what I mean? When you just look at it just from a wrestling viewer's perspective, you're just watching a pure exhibition match. If someone said to me, and I'd never seen wrestling before, just watch these two guys, that would hook me into wrestling straight away, just watching that, because it was just absolutely classic. The second one, and this goes back to what we were talking about Black History Month early in October. For me, this did a massive amount for, I think, African American wrestlers at the time in WCW, and that's Booker T. The push that Booker T got, his microphone skills, his gimmicks of King Booker as well as Booker T, the Spinneroonie, you know, with or without his wife accompanying him to the ring, Booker T had it all. The fans got him. The fans got it. I mean, one of the best things that happened to him was when Harlem Heat were no more, and he became a singles competitor, because WCW just saw something in him, and he rose to the occasion every single time, fighting the likes of Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Hogan, and Luger, and then when obviously he moved into WWE, taking on The Rock, Kurt Angle, Stone Cold. I mean, and it was just everything that he seemed to do just worked. And there's absolutely no wonder now why WWE still value him as co-commentator as well. Because this guy was, again, similar to Kurt Angle, comedy as well
Booker
as
T.
serious, and and wrestling moves as well were just brilliant.
I'd like to add some there. Yeah, spinning away. There's loads to add.
Yes.
There's loads to add here, guys. I think Booker T is not just this five-time champion of the world.
Yeah.
He had the bookend. Which was a completely original move. Yes.
Yeah.
I loved him. It was funny, but he could also be serious. And do you know what? It's a testament to himself that he succeeded in WWE after WCW, because he could have easily been forgotten about.
And this is a guy who did a good few years in prison as well before his wrestling career for armed robbery.
Yes.
So it could have easily gone a different path. So just testament to the guy that
Changed his life around.
Got his head sorted, got in the game, applied himself, looked after himself, and went equally as good as a face as he did as a heel as well. So my second choice for my Mount Rushmore of Wrestling is Booker T.
Great choice, Dave. I'll just add a bit more. He was one of the ones that came straight across when the invasion angle was all going across. He didn't have his own special contracts, as far as I know, like Kevin Nash, Hulk Hogan, and all them did. So he came and he had to start working straight away. And I tell you what, he started proving himself straight away. He worked and he worked and he worked, and that's testament to his hard work and dedication that he's in your Mount Rushmore. And good choice.
I mean, I think he had to start scrapping for the United States Championship. I think that was the sort of bracket that he was at when he first came into it. And when he worked on, won the King of the Ring, and obviously eventually got the big titles.
When he came across, I don't know if you remember or if you know, but the very last night of WCW, when Shane McMahon appeared live on TV, going to Raw, they had a night of champions. Every title was defended, and Booker T won the title that night, so he took the main title over to WWE.
That's right.
He lost it very quickly, but then worked his ass off to get back to a point where he's respected. The guy's respected now. Booker T is awesome, and on your Mount Rushmore.
Absolutely. A third one. This guy's been around for a long time. I first started watching him when he was in Impact Wrestling, TNA to Impact Wrestling. He's now in AEW now. He hasn't won any particular big matches or belts as yet, but he absolutely deserves to, because this is a guy who was absolute pure in-ring technician, but all about the entertainment. You sit and watch this guy, whoever he's taking on, you just think, this guy is absolutely incredible. No one's ever seen his face. No one knows his real name as well. And this is Pentagon, or how he's now known in AEW as Penta. Now, you'll know him, Phil, when you see him, because he's a luchador. But he comes out with a Marvel Venom attire, and his attire is absolutely brilliant. Penta is, for me, pound for pound, along with his brother Ray Phoenix, although I think Penta's a bit better, the most skillful wrestler on mainstream TV at the moment. The moves he can do are just absolutely phenomenal. And this guy makes it look like this is just what I do. I'm not amazed by it. I'm glad you guys are, but this is who I am, and this is what I do. And the fact that he's also been able to keep his real identity a secret from wrestling fans all the way through as well. Anybody who hasn't seen him, please type in Pentagon from his Impact Wrestling days, TNA days, but also type in Penta and his brother Ray Phoenix, the Lucha Brothers, in AEW. You will not see a tag team like it, and you can tell how much his brother Ray just looks up to him. Absolutely.
Really?
Pure classic wrestling moves, but also bringing it into a modern era, without doubt, Penta gets on my Mount Rushmore.
And check
Gavin.
out AEW Dynamite on Wednesday, because they've got a fight between them as well. Again.
It's round to brother versus brother. The Lucha Brothers are taking on each other in a rematch for when I think they fought in the quarterfinals, didn't they? For a spot number one contenders match, didn't they? Penta, get on it. Awesome ring attack, awesome moves, just an absolutely outstanding wrestler. And my fourth one. Now,
hold on, before you fourth.
Whoa.
If I am wrong with this, I admit it. But if I want to do a bit of an introduction, and it's going to go a bit like. Dave, carry on.
I was going to put the Ultimate Warrior on my Mount Rushmore. I was going to put him on there. Because he was the first wrestler that I just thought, this guy is an absolute maniac. I love this guy. But because I've seen that much wrestling now, he's definitely in my personal Hall of Fame, because as a kid, I preferred him to Hulk Hogan. Hand over fist, any day of the week.
I reckon that Hulk Hogan... the Ultimate Warrior. It's probably the only wrestler Hulk Hogan's actually better at wrestling than.
Yeah, probably right, actually. I won't want to see them two in an exhibition match, to be honest with you.
They did well with WrestleMania 6, but they did well with that. But, that was good storytelling, not good wrestling.
It was classic because it was title versus title.
Absolutely.
But then I thought about, right then, let's not miss out any of the women on there. So I toyed with the idea. I toyed with the idea of putting Mickie James on there, because Mickie James just has a bounce back ability factor where she comes into wrestling, she goes back out, she comes back into it, and every time she comes back in, she can pull. Yeah, just to shake it. And then she does the okey-dokey and disappears for about another 3 years. But at the age of 41, she can still hang with the women who are like the main ones now on the roster, the ones in the mid-20s to late 20s, early 30s. But I've managed to put somebody else in who I think deserves a place on there. And that, for me, is a guy who I think, mainstream-wise, has been underrated. Although he's still on a main wrestling show at the moment. He's still wrestling as well. At the age of 50, and seeing what this guy did in TNA, it's Christopher Daniels. Yeah. Christopher Daniels. Now, this guy.
What a choice!
Technical ability. How he makes him, how he put himself over, but how he also put other people over. Phil, you touched upon it earlier. The battles with AJ Styles, the battles with Frankie Kazarian, the battles with Low Key, with Samoa Joe, with
Samoa Joe. I remember that trio: Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels. Some of the best wrestling you'll ever see in your life if you look it up on YouTube. Unbelievable stuff, man. Unbelievable stuff.
If all three of those were in WWE together, Vince, WD-40, yeah, to be fair,
WD-40 in the pram.
Is that the Rangers?
If they was in WWE and they wanted to do the stuff in there that they were doing in TNA, Vince would have an heart attack because his insurance would just go through the roof. It'd be so. But the fact
watch the TNA stuff, guys.
Christopher Daniels was just so good at putting himself and his opponents over, and did it in such a way that he never looked like it was a squash match, whether he was beating somebody else or somebody was beating him. He made it so that these two guys, 3, 4 guys, whatever it was just an even keel, and it genuinely was the best man won on the night. Absolutely. So there's my fourth choice, my Mount Rushmore, guys. So angle, Number 2, we've got Booker T. Number 3, we've got Penta, formerly known as Pentagon. And number 4, Christopher Daniels.
That is absolutely awesome. What's the request?
Because we'll have time to do one each, full one each. Just one tag team each for Mount Rushmore.
Okay then. Let's do that then for our combined Mount Rushmore then.
Okay, let's go backwards though. So Dave, you start and I'll finish. You have Surgeon still in the middle.
Hey, I'm going to go with the Dudley Boys.
Brilliant choice.
Simple
as Dudley Boys.
I'm stuck between 2. I've had more time to think about it than you two.
Yeah.
But my choice would have to be the Hardys.
Lovely.
Okay, there's a team called Edge and Christian, but I'm not going to pick them. No, I'm going to take it back old school, guys. Take it back old school. And the Rockers, Marty Jannetty, Shawn Michaels, when they were hot, they were fantastic. They were doing Hardy Boys stuff before the Hardy Boys were born, man. Pretty much.
True.
You know, they never got what they deserved. They never got what they deserved as a tag team. They were the best. They were the best. They were the best. That's it. That's my Mount Rushmore of tag teams, the Rockers.
I'm stealing the last spot for the Young Bucks.
Oh, the Young Bucks as well is a good shout. Really good shout.
Just sneaking in there. But for that team,
yeah.
I mean,
go with the Rockers.
In the title match, though, Phil, they did a 3D, did a Twist of Fate and Swanton Bomb. I'm sure they did something else. I can't remember which it was, sir.
And that's exactly why they're not in the Mount Rushmore, because they've got moves that other people do.
Well,
no, seriously. No, I bothered. Shit.
The BT Draggers move someone else does?
Listen, the Heartbreak Kid is speaking. Right, no, honestly, the Rockers were fantastic, man. If they'd have stayed together, they did win gold, but
not enough.
So what I'm hearing then, guys, is there's no place on there for the Bushwhackers.
Brothers of Destruction were a close one as well.
Brothers of Destruction.
Fuck, I'm not a proper tag team.
Yeah, well, I've got all the F-bomb there as well, Phil.
Oh, sorry. You swore first. You swore first.
I saw.
To be fair, it's 9:10. You know, it's past the watershed.
Oh, we passed our watershed. So we can just drop F-bombs like it's going out of fashion. Is that right?
Yeah,
is that
absolutely. Right, okay. It's 9:10, isn't it?
Oh, God, I thought you were Retribution then. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Right. It is what it is. Mount Rushmore tag team. I'd love to pick the Rockers, and I've picked them, so that's it, innit?
Right, I've got time
More
for Joke
importantly,
of the Week.
though, guys.
Okay,
yeah,
I'm changing my mind.
Oh, we do have a viewer.
Legion of Doom, man.
We do have a viewers for, which is Harlem Heat, the Hardys, the Dudleys, and the Hart Foundation.
Oh,
4 good choices.
How are those? Hart Foundation was a great tag team, but they weren't as good as the Rockers. The Rockers beat them, and it wasn't televised, and the rope broke, or a turnbuckle broke. So they got them stripped, and then a couple of weeks later, Shawn Michaels super kicked Marty Jannetty through a fucking barbershop window. Sorry for swearing again, but it's past the watershed. It's past the watershed.
Not
so much
maybe he thought Marty Jannetty needed a haircut. I don't know.
Why have we got Retribution going on here? A Retribution coming on to our show instead of Raw now?
That's right.
I don't. So are we going to tidy this up and end it like in a neat little package?
Little joke of the
week.
Joke of the week.
How does Hulk Hogan clean his house?
Don't know.
With Hulkamania.
Hey!
Oh!
Hulkamania.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
And there is kind of a second one, but I don't know who to use as a wrestler.
Go on, go for it.
We'll go for Randy Orton. How many Randy Orton fans did it change a light bulb?
I don't think they can do it. I don't think they can achieve that, because I just don't think there's enough brain cells amongst them to do it.
I was going to say both of them.
Hey, close answer.
So, next week then, guys, has anybody got any topics for next week?
I'd love a suggestion from some of our listeners. If we don't get a suggestion, we will give you a topic by Wednesday.
Well, I've thought of a topic. Do you want me to reveal it now, or shall we keep it for during the week?
Reveal it.
Shall we reveal it? So I was going to go for the best and worst wrestling stables of all time.
Oh, I like him. Okay.
Best and worst wrestling stables, and we can include the good members and the bad members of each stable as well, because NWO, I think everybody on earth has been in NWO.
I got invited to be, but I turned it down.
I'm in the BHG version of NWO anyway, so I can't go to another one. So what we'd like to do is, that's a fantastic subject tonight, Phil, the Mount Rushmore of Wrestling. What we would like to do is find out, all the listeners, Mount Rushmores of Wrestling, what are your Mount Rushmore singles competitors? What are also your Mount Rushmore tag teams of all time as well? And please put those in the comments section on our Facebook page, the Piledriver Podcast, and also on our YouTube page as well. Gentlemen, anything to add before we go?
I would also like to say, viewers, please vote on which Mount Rushmore you thought was the best.
Oh, out of all three of us, yeah.
Yes.
Lovely.
And the other thing, a little task, a little bit of homework for you, if you're interested, guys. Out of the wrestlers that were mentioned, and there was, 3 times 4, there was 12. Oh, no, Rock was used twice. So you're talking 11 different wrestlers, 11 different wrestlers.
That was a proper Steiner maths, that wasn't it? Then you get 300 answers.
I taught Scott Steiner. I taught him. Bloody hell,
Steiner maths.
I've been around forever, guys. I know Scott. Look, listen. From the 11 wrestlers chosen between the 3 of us, please make your own top 4. And, maybe you might get a shout out if we like your top 4. There you go. Next podcast.
Excellent. So, guys, it's been a great night. Anything else to add before we leave?
No, that Phil's face froze at a really bad time. That was good.
My wife just walked in and she looks like a ghost. I think she's got face cream on or something. Right, guys.
I'm hoping that's good.
Been a great show. Triumphant comeback.
Maybe she's doing some face paint.
Time to go. Yeah. I'm going now.
Adios, guys.
Adios.
Granola.
I think I've got some pizza left, but that's the sort of thing Heartbreaker does. Good night. God bless. Thanks for listening.
Tune in next Sunday at 8 p.m. Bye-bye.